Cheers, guys. Epix911, welcome to the Elitist Geek miscellaneous VR video dealing with toys. VR toys, to be specific. When I mentioned the direction that the channel was going to be going in, the main theme, the main kind of part of that component, if you will, was to represent all the market share leader technology that plays games equally, right? We're not taking sides. A few of you've kind of, pushed me on what I would do at gunpoint. But again, it's very 1A and 1B as opposed to 1 and 2 for me. It's a tight argument. Yeah, obviously, if you have to pick one, you pick one, right? But at the end of the day, I'm really not a fanboy of any specific technology. So it was always in the works to get the Rift and the Vive both, and I've done that. And then I was going to get the OSVR, the Sony PlayStation VR, and the Samsung Gear VR. So all told, the Google Cardboard, not so much because the Gear VR can do a lot of that Google Cardboard functionality. So there was really no point in getting that, right? But yeah, that was the plan all along, and that was going to take place. I was going to acquire all those up and through October 2016, which is, of course, is the date that Sony launches their PlayStation virtual reality solution. So, well, I started on the process. Now, at work, we had a hodgepodge. My IT policy was open to whatever phone vendor you wanted to work with because we use ActiveSync. So whether it was iOS or Android, it didn't matter, right? So I have an iPhone 6 Plus. That's kind of my phone. We made a decision as a company to tighten our phone policy to only adopt basically Android phones because we partnered with a company or contracted a company out to write an application for us, an Android-based app, to track field service labor, time and attendance, right? And we are going to deploy that on Samsung tablets. So when we made that decision, we said, you know what, it would probably make sense just to retain as much compatibility as possible. In an emergency, maybe field tech, tablet dies, they can still use a phone to do the same thing, albeit with a smaller screen. So we reined the policy in to include all the current and 1-2 gen behind Samsung phones, which of course covers this baby right here, which is the Samsung Galaxy S7. They didn't have the Edge in stock, and I didn't want to wait for the Note. Like I said, I've got the iPhone 6 Plus. It has a nice big screen, which I've enjoyed. This one, yeah, I am going a bit smaller on the screen, but I'm okay with that. But the main reason, guys, is that should come as no surprise, would be the Samsung Gear VR. And recognizing full well this is the little brother or little sister, if you will, of the VR family, it's still a device that offers games, will probably have some good games. It has one space game, Gun or something, Eve. It's an Eve game spin-off, right? Like a lighter version of Eve Valkyrie. So yeah, so the plan was always to get it, have it now. I will get that set up. I will add the box to the wall of boxes there, which the goal of that, by the way, is, and some of you may have figured that out already, is to block my bar sink, microwave oven, with stuff that looks a little more virtual reality, IT, tech related, right? So you got the posters on that side, and then you've got a lot of my boxes of my current tech on this side. So I'm just going to add to that, and we're probably going to go to the ceiling eventually, right? So add to that, of course, will be the Gear VR box. The OSVR, I was a little hesitant on. And I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts are on this. I can't remember which one of you pointed it out to me, but you pointed out the 30-day warranty, which really gave me pause for thought, right? I understand the why. Ultimately, I would have been more comfortable 90 days, 120 days. That would have probably, it would still be a purchase that I would proceed on without hesitation. But with only 30 days, look, granted, I'm not going to be a huge tinkerer on that because, and I mentioned this in a video before, I have a very bad history of borking internals, PlayStation portables while I was hacking them, tearing ribbons off. It's just not something I enjoy, right? So it sucks that there's only 30 days, but obviously that's the reason they call it a hacker's toolkit or dev kit. Yeah, they're not going to be supporting more than 30 days, but I got to give that some thought. Obviously, if there's a catastrophic failure in there, it's probably, odds are it's going to happen within 30 days, but you know Murphy gets going, it could be day 31, right? And then you are royally screwed. So I'm going to give that one some more thought, but in the meantime, what I will do is, start including the Gear VR content. And it's only going to be when there's stuff that's interesting to talk about or show, right? Other than that, it's obviously still very Rift and Vive centric because those are the two leaders of the consumer market for virtual reality, and they have the best games, right? But at least this gives us an option, and those of you who have a Gear VR, for, us to create and share that content as well. So I'm going to tinker with that a little bit tonight, get the straps on, see how she works. I've also got the big TV that we have down in the man cave is a Samsung TV, smart TV as well. And apparently with the Samsung Android phones, screen mirroring, whoops, I thought I dropped it there, but I didn't. Screen mirroring is just a couple of clicks, right? So I'm going to check out all of that stuff, and I will report back over the next few days, weeks, on what my thoughts are with the Gear VR unit. All right, guys, going to start working on the news video, which I will have up hopefully fairly shortly. Cheers, guys, and we will see you on that flip side.